Did not shine on these two teams last year. They are looking for better starts, fresh starts.
Yeah, two teams definitely looking to turn it around in 2018, and with the BC Lions, it all begins with their quarterback, Jonathan Jennings, and for him, it's all about consistency. For the Montreal Alouettes, Drew Willie, 1-9 is his win-loss record. Over his last 10 starts, 0-2 with the Montreal Alouettes last season. And this is a fresh start for number 5 as he becomes the Alouette starter here to open the season.
Fresh start for this guy, too. Former NFL head coach for the Green Bay Packers, Mike Sherman, comes north. His first CFL game as the head coach, and a guy who has coached so many games, the all-time winningest coach. This is it, the last ride for Wally Buono. He says this will be his final season as a head coach in the Canadian Football League. So the farewell tour begins, and this team, the BC Lions, say they want to win for Wally. Chris Rainey is back tonight. Lions won the toss. They take the ball. Boris Beatty puts it on the tee, puts it in the air, and here we go. Beatty, who has led the CFL the last couple of seasons in kickoffs. Another deep one as Rainey brings it out near the 20-yard line, where Jonathan Jennings wants a bounce-back season in the pocket and out of the pocket for the BC Lions.
Yeah, and this is the thing for Jonathan Jennings. You see the numbers from last year. Just 4 wins against 10 losses. 19 interceptions versus 16 touchdown passes. An inconsistent year for Jennings. There were still the flashes of brilliance, but he needs for those to become a much more consistent part of the package.
Out of the gun right away, Jeremiah Johnson in the backfield. They'll pitch it forward, and coming across is Shaq Johnson, who had a breakout season last year, played 18 games, had a couple of touchdowns. The native of Brampton, Ontario, moves the sticks on the first play of the season for the Lions.
Yeah, we take a look at this receiving core. Guy I think has become the leader of this group, the very explosive Brian Burnham. Watch for at least one circus catch a game from him. Joel Figueroa comes in at left tackle. The Lions look to solidify their offensive line.
A lot of motion in that backfield again. And the play action, Manny Arsenault's first reception of 2018, coming off another 1,000-yard season, 3 straight 1K seasons for Manny Arsenault.
We take a look at the Montreal Alouettes defense, where Jamal Westerman joins brother Jabbar in red, white, and blue, looking to bring some leadership to the Montreal defense. Enoch Mwamba takes over at middle linebacker. Mwamba last year playing 17 games in Saskatchewan. First time he's played more than 5 in a season since 2013. Mitchell White, well, he hopes to bring a little luck after back-to-back Grey Cups in Ottawa and Toronto the last 2 years.
And comes back to Montreal. Jeremiah Johnson out of the backfield, up near the 40-yard line. Looks like he's going to be 1.5 yards, almost 2 yards short. Wally Buono takes a look and decides to bring out his kick team, including last year's leading punter in the Canadian Football League, Ty Long.
Yeah, Ty Long handling all kicking duties here for the BC Lions. He's going to launch this one to the former Leo, Steph Logan.
See the sun coming down through the open top here tonight at BC Place. Just an exquisite day. Perfect night for football. Lid open, big kick again from Long. Sends Logan back near his 15, cuts back, and downfield quickly are the BC Lions. Nice Sean Davis with the special team tackle, and Drew Willie looking to get the Alouettes in the win column early in 2018. California, former University of Buffalo star, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, former Toronto Argonaut, now a member of the Montreal Alouettes. He's got the keys to the car right now, and his first pass of 2018 is complete over the top to Patrick Lavoie, who comes back to Montreal after spending a couple of seasons, including a Grey Cup winning one in Ottawa.
Another veteran joining that Alouettes roster this season is former Lion Chris Williams. Williams, for the first time in his career, under 1,000 yards in a season, held to just 9 games. due to injury last year. Ryan Bombin returns to Montreal after a stint in Hamilton, acquired draft day trade.
BC defense that's completely rebuilt and revamped. First down for the Alouettes, including the presence of the Big O.
Yeah, Odell Willis enters the season with 88 career sacks. We saw Charleston Hughes in Saskatchewan go over 100 for his career last night. Odell Willis hoping to do the same before the season's out. Solomon Elimimian back-to-back 100-tackle seasons for Solly. And TJ Lee, anchor, that boundary halfback spot for the Leos.
Double tight end set. Terrell Sutton once again. Sutton, a former rushing leader in the Canadian Football League a couple of seasons ago. And this has to be promising. I know it's only a couple of plays in for the Alouettes, but this is a team that did not score many points, did not get many first downs, and really couldn't employ Terrell Sutton a lot last year. He's got great numbers, but they use him early on here.
Yeah, this is the thing. You want to get him involved early, but as you alluded to, Rod, if you're the Montreal Alouettes, you don't want to fall behind because it takes one of your most consistent, reliable offensive weapons out of the game when that happens.
They go back to him. He follows the convoy, and 2nd and 2 becomes another first down. Back-to-back first downs for this Alouette offense that is also revamped, including their new offensive coordinator, Kahari Jones, who comes from the BC Lions.
And I like this commitment to running the football, lining up in a two-back set with Patrick Lavoie out there to open this ball game, as some pretty good pass rushers over on that BC defensive line. You want to get them, but not allow them to get in rhythm. Let your O-line get some confidence early with the run game.
Got the Lions to jump. Free play here for Willie. That sack is going to likely be negated as they get to Willie early on here, but it looked like the BC Lions jumped. Our referee tonight is Kim Murphy.
Offside. BC, number 91. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
It was Junior Luke, out of Montreal, Quebec, and a former Montreal Caravan in his 2nd season in BC.
You see him at that defensive tackle spot. 2017 first rounder.
7th overall by the Lions last year. Here comes a blitz on the left side, and Terrell Sutton breaks a couple tackles on 1st and 5. It'll be 2nd and short. So far, the Alouettes committed to the run. It's taken them near the midfield stripe as Sutton bears his fangs once more.
And you again get an indication of the power of Terrell Sutton as he just runs through contact.
Former star out of Northwestern. There's Kahari Jones, former great quarterback in the league. He's been around as an assistant almost every team in the CFL. Now in Montreal, and 5 straight running plays. You know, the Alouettes are really taking this logo thing on their helmets, which they're using each era. This is the 1940s era, where I think they ran the football a lot.
Yeah, they got the helmets and the playbook, but it seems to be working for them so far.
They have the wings tonight. Every month they will employ a new look, every decade, to their helmet. Those wings have not taken to the air too much yet here tonight. Maybe this time. Willie back to pass, and he's wrapped up and he's ripped down. And it's Gabriel Napton, his former teammate in Montreal, his first game as a Lion and his first sack.
Watch for Gabriel Napton coming off the left side of your screen. Working against newcomer Reuben Carter at the tackle spot. No doubt happy to get one against the team that dealt him away in the offseason. He was traded for Chris Williams.
Might see Williams on this drive. Willie looking down the rail, and it is caught, and into the end zone for the touchdown is B.J. Cunningham. And something the Alouettes didn't do much of last season is celebrate touchdowns. There's a penalty flag, though, and this might be coming back.
Yeah, I think this one is coming
Holding
back.
Montreal, number 68. It's a 10-yard penalty, remains second down.
Premature celebration into the end zone. This one's coming back, a holding call. B.J. Cunningham's first CFL touchdown of 2018 is coming off the board.
Yeah, the BC Lions ran a twist on the right side of their defense, which created some problems. You're going to see Odell Willis go in hard and a loop coming outside from David Menard. So Odell Willis gets a piece of Philip Blake. He has trouble trying to track Menard looping outside. You saw him trying to hold on to stay with his man.
Well, they were in field goal range. Now, after that touchdown taken off the board, 2nd and 23. Another flag down. Looks like offside, maybe a hold as well, offsetting as Willie scampers to go out of bounds at the BC 50. Sort this out. One came out early and another one in mid-play. Mike Sherman, who I'm sure is still getting used to the Canadian game.
Offside. BC, number 98. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
So it'll be 2nd down again. And 18 this time. We talked yesterday and still getting used to some of the nuances of the CFL game. He's got some good veteran help over there. Rich Stubler's helping him out a lot.
Yeah,
defensive
Stubler's
coordinator.
certainly a guy he's going to lean on a little bit in this process.
2nd and 18. Look out now. Now he's going deep. He's got his man. And down to the end zone, fumbled football. Chris Williams. And into the end zone is Eugene Lewis. And they're going to have to figure this out. Looked like they were down at the goal line. They're saying touchdown.
Yeah.
So
we'll see the timing here too, though, of exactly when Williams lost the ball, so they can decide who's keeping the souvenir.
It likely looked like Chris Williams got to the goal line, the former Lion, in his first game back. And we'll see right.
So it's out definitely before he crosses the line.
And so Eugene Lewis, Gino, may have his first CFL touchdown. Guy will be watching a lot this season. Alouettes love him, but here's Williams. He's hauled down by Gary Peters. Yeah, the ball's out.
Yeah, ball is clearly out before Williams crosses the line. Good heads up play by Lewis. Will get his first touchdown. Maybe not exactly the way he dreamt about it. But they all count for 6.
Ball fumbled into the end zone. Fumble recovery touchdown from the pass catcher, Eugene Lewis. Boris Beatty for the point after. And the Alouettes strike first here in BC.
Look, I got my man back, all of them.
Great
We right here with it.
college basketball star. Little dribbling in the end zone. Able to pick that up, and Eugene Lewis scores. The Alouettes have an early lead in BC.
The call came in. The meetup was on. But these aren't the
Star at South Alabama and an NBA pick, and his son has his first CFL touchdown. Not the way he probably would have thought he got it.
You know?
Now the Alouettes had an earlier touchdown celebration taken away, not this time. And those wings did take flight.
Is it the guy we saw that 12-6 record and over 5,000 passing yards in 2016? Will it be the guy we saw last year, who at times lost his starting job to the veteran Travis Lulay as he went just 4-10?
Still 25 years old, a month away from his 26th birthday, still very young. Brian Burnham, 4th in the CFL in receiving last season. All eyes on Jonathan Jennings. Travis Lulay, who had a couple of starts last year when Jennings went down with injury. He's not ready yet, but will be on the roster and in that depth chart at some point this season.
And as always, a valuable resource for his young partner in crime, whether he's playing or not. Travis Lulay, an important part of the BC Lions offense.
2nd and 4. Jennings throws again over the top. Slant pattern. And Manny Arsenault drags a pile up near the midfield stripe.
I love the quick hitter. Manny Arsenault is going to use that waggle to build his speed so he can hit this one. The top end, there's the opening. Jennings hits it right on time. Good recognition between quarterback and receiver in terms of where the pressure's coming from in the defense and where that ball has got to go.
8th season for Manny Arsenault. Jonathan Jennings has room here on a good play call. Faked the hitch and had loads of room. He's 2nd and certainly manageable for the Lions.
As they sell that this is going, keep an eye on Javon Olafioye on the back at the backside tackle spot. He's going to cut things down here. He's allowed to cut inside that tackle box. Brings down the defensive end, creates an edge for Jonathan Jennings.
Javon Olafioye to Montreal last year and back with the BC Lions, a former outstanding lineman, perennial all-star in the Canadian Football League as Jeremiah Johnson moves the sticks and the BC Lions march into Montreal territory.
As you mentioned, Javon Olafioye, 9th year in the Canadian Football League, 8th year here with the BC Lions. He was dealt to Montreal prior to last season in exchange for Canadian O-lineman David Foucault. And as the Alouettes look to shape up their salary cap, he was released and returned to the West Coast just prior to this year.
1st and 10, Jennings dancing. Now chased, and he will get popped out of bounds by Chris Aki. Drew Willie helps up his counterpart for the Lions.
Yeah, Jennings headed for that sideline. Couldn't get there in time before Aki, young Canadian, getting a chance to start at that weak side linebacker spot. Lower the boom.
Out of Wilfrid Laurier, 4th overall pick. 1st rounder back in 2015 for the Owls. Spent some valuable time there. Jennings in the pocket, and that's caught. Ryan Burnham makes just another for his highlight reel. Guy makes so many acrobatic catches.
I'll tell you what, that not a whole lot of space left on that highlight reel with the work Ryan Burnham has done over the last couple of years. You see him coming out of the slot.
Jennings throwing again. He's got his man. He's got the touchdown. Shaq Johnson scores. That was a foot race, and it wasn't even close.
Hey, Shaq Johnson doesn't lose a lot of foot races. This kid can flat out fly.
Looked like justified to the finish line there. Beat him by 5 lengths.
Former Rookie of the Year in Canadian University football. At that time, played at McGill, later completed his college career at Western. Had a stop with the London Beefeaters, Canadian junior football loop along the way as well before being drafted by BC. Now here in his 3rd year, 2nd year as a starter. Scores the club's first touchdown in 2018.
Ty Long boots it through. We've got a good one going here early on. Under 3 minutes to go, first quarter, 7-7. Those two numbers are good for Jonathan Jennings. 7 for 7 already. Shaq Johnson has his first touchdown of the new season. Had a lot of fast ones here tonight. Johnson, Chris Williams, of course. Watch Chris Rainey, Steph Logan out there. Ty Long sends it to the 10-yard line. Putting that up and up to the 40-yard line is Ryder Stone.
Make your getaway with intelligent all-wheel drive in the 2018 Nissan Qashqai.
2018 draft pick Ryder Stone on that return. His first touch as a CFLer officially. Played some in the preseason. And Drew Willie's looked good so far. So too Jonathan Jennings. 2:40 to go. Opening quarter. Opening game for these two teams of 2018. High-man rush. Willie slinging again and catching again. His old buddy Ernest Jackson, the former Lion and Red Black. And these two guys used to connect all the time in their college days in Buffalo.
Yeah, they're celebrating big time back in Buffalo. Terrific protection here for Drew Willie, which allows time for this to develop. Ernest Jackson is on the outside near the top of your screen. Double move, and he gone.
"54-yarder to Ernest Jackson. Subpar season last year in Montreal. Really, so many different quarterbacks. Offense sputtered most of the year, and Ernest Jackson just did not have the production that he had, certainly in Ottawa and also here in BC. But maybe with Drew Willie now and their ability to hook up, and it was more than a carousel. It was musical quarterbacks in Montreal. It has been since Anthony Calvillo retired.
Yeah, Drew Willie hoping to be the answer to the question ultimately replaces Anthony Calvillo at quarterback. It's been 4 years of auditions.
2nd and 7. Willie trying to step up, and Odell Willis has his first sack as a Lion. Bringing back some of that Edmonton Eskimos somersault. And Odell Willis dropping Willie, and that will bring out the kick team.
Keep an eye on Odell Willis coming from the bottom of your screen. His defensive end spot. Excited to have Davon Coleman working alongside him.
Eight sacks last year. The Eskimos, his first as a Lion. New home, same old Odell Willis. Quarterback nightmare. Beatty puts it through. Alouettes go in front with under 30 to go in this opening quarter, where both teams have had some drives.
Yeah, we usually expect the offenses to be a little bit behind at this stage of the season. Looking pretty good so far. A few big plays. Odell Willis. And to snuff that drive out.
87 career sacks now.
What's happening? Mama. Hey, Back Fitting. Reggie, Meatball. What up, baby?
I want to meet Meatball.
I was going to say, does he really have a friend named
Uncle
Meatball?
Melvin right there, baby.
Out of Meridian, Mississippi. Played his college ball at West Georgia. Has played for Winnipeg and Calgary and Saskatchewan and Edmonton. Traded to Ottawa, didn't play there, but is a BC Lion now. Legend of Odell Willis continues. Jonathan Jennings, final seconds here of this opening quarter. These teams have traded offensive punches. Jonathan Jennings channeling 2016 here in his breakout year.
His start has to have Wally Buono very happy after the way 2017 went for the young quarterback.
Final play, barring penalty in this opening frame at BC Place tonight. Alouettes were showing blitz. They'll rush 4. Jennings decides to call his own number. There he goes. Scooting out. Still on his feet into Montreal territory in a big game. The biggest run for Jonathan Jennings here tonight on the final play of this opening quarter. Teams will trade sides. And the Lions will be in Montreal territory to start the second quarter. Alouettes score first. Lions tie, and a field goal separates right now. Saturday night football in Vancouver continues in a moment.
Even quarterback draw in the last play from Jonathan Jennings. They're doing a great job taking advantage of that aggressiveness of the defense.
Clean ball game so far as well. First and 10, Lions from the Montreal 53-yard line. Play action again, another good play call. Coordinators in mid-season form already, and we saw a lot of preseason games, and you don't get a lot of eye tests in the preseason because you've only got 2 of those games, and it's tough on the coaches, it's tough on the players, and you see some sloppy play, and sometimes that transcends into the regular season. Not tonight.
Yeah, I mean, so much of the game, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, is about timing, and you don't really get enough reps at full speed, game speed, to get that timing down in the preseason.
Great timing here so far, just short of a first down, up near the 45. He's Brian Burnham, who's already very busy here tonight. 4 catches so far for number 16.
Yeah, Burnham's a guy who has really established himself over the last couple of years as one of the elite receivers in the Canadian Football League.
So from the 45, this would be a 52-yard field goal. They're deciding not to do that. They're going to punt this away.
Play for field position.
Unless they got something up their sleeve, but Ty Long, young kicker, Alabama Birmingham. Become adept at that coffin corner. This one is right at it, but it bounces into the end zone, and Steph Logan will run around a bit, take the knee, and give up a point. 2-point ball game, and Chris Williams is back in familiar territory. With more on that, let's go to the sideline and join Farhan Lalji. Farhan?
Yeah, Rod, Chris Williams was BC's big free agent acquisition in last year's offseason. Now, he was recovering from torn ACL surgery, and when he came here, I think he felt that there was going to be a plan to reintegrate him back into the lineup, and I'm not sure that ever manifested itself. It really felt like a square peg in a round hole when it came to Williams. And offensive coordinator Kahari Jones at the time was really criticized for not finding a way to take advantage of his speed and obvious skill sets, and we find out after the fact that Jones may have been really hamstrung in terms of what he was or wasn't allowed to call. Now in Montreal, he's got complete free reign to do whatever he wants. Expect him to try to get more matchups and more isolations with Williams, who says he's as healthy as he was in 2016 when he may have been the front runner for MOP prior to his injury.
Yeah, right you are, Farhan. Terrell Sutton makes something out of nothing. And Drew Willie, in pure desperation mode, dishes it off to Sutton, who looked like he was going to be stopped, and then all of a sudden he's got a first down.
Yeah, Drew Willie's looking front side on this play to his left initially, and Chris Williams started to come open. You'll see Williams on the dig just at the top of the screen, but by then there's pressure in Willie's face. He stands in there, got a guy coming for his legs, stands in there and makes the throw. Terrell Sutton does the rest.
First and 10, hand off to Sutton once more, but he got tripped up and slipped up near the scrimmage line, and Devon Coleman, former Hamilton Tiger Cat, came over in a trade, has an easy stop on Sutton.
Well, here's a look back at the previous play, the connection between Willie and Sutton. You know, a lot of people felt like Drew Willie sort of lost confidence to stay in the pocket, to stand in and make throws after a couple of injuries during his time in Winnipeg, and that affected his performance. But I'll tell you, a couple of the plays he's made here tonight, absolutely no hesitation from him to stand in.
Stands in again. B.J. Cunningham is brought down by Gary Peters, short of a first down. Likely brings out Boris Beatty. You know, 2 quarterbacks who took a lot of criticism in heat last year, kind of maligned. How about these numbers tonight?
Yeah, these
14 for 14, a perfect night.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been nothing short of perfect thus far throwing the football. And once again, you're going to see Drew Willie with an orange jersey in his face, standing in, making a play.
Fine, 14 for 14. Boris Beatty got knocked down. No penalty flag. Ball flies out of bounds inside the 20. Early second quarter, and Jonathan Jennings only perfect so far tonight. Now there's a late flag that flies. We'll catch up with that when we come back. JJ in his bounce back season in BC. Can the Lions climb the West Division standings?
I guess I started doing it to look cool. It's taken me years to kick the habit.
It's all about the nines. 9 for 9 for 99 yards thus far.
Great start for him. Again, after such a mediocre season by his standards last year, just a young guy. A young guy whose star is on the rise. Like he slipped as well on the 35-yard line. Asked yesterday, what was it more of last year, the shoulder problem or, you know, the confidence? And he said it was a little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Certainly a combination of factors. You know, Jonathan Jennings, because he's a guy who took over as a starter in his rookie season, I think we sometimes forget that this is still a young quarterback, and even, you know, now entering his 4th year, that's still relatively early in the learning curve.
Jeremiah Johnson, his best run of the new season. Close to the 55-yard line. Guy who tied for the CFL lead in touchdowns last year with 12.
Yeah, nice to see the running backs getting involved early in this ball game. Things well blocked up by this revamped Lions offensive line. Plenty of room to roll for number 24.
Lions team last year that had a pretty decent start to the season at 5-2. We're 6-5 and then completely flatlined. Finished the season 1-6 for the first time in 20 years out of the playoffs. Jennings play action there, trying to decoy and suck in a couple of those defenders, but it didn't work. Johnson only gets a couple of yards. Looks like a passing down here for Wally Buono and the Lions.
Well, you mentioned a play action look there from Jonathan Jennings as he gave the handoff. We've seen him use his legs a couple of times. It'd be interesting to see if they, as the game wears on, start to give a little more bootleg and so on.
Guy who used to call the plays in BC as a quarterback, Jarius Jackson, now calling the plays with Wally. It's a penalty flag. Burnham with a straight arm on Aki. Is there some illegal contact here?
Illegal contact on a receiver. Montreal, number 21. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down, BC.
That makes it a first down. That would have been short of a first down, so Aki penalized. It's in Montreal's zone now, inside the 45-yard line.
Bit of a touchy one, perhaps. I'm not sure how much it really impacted the receiver getting to where he was going.
Four-man rush. Jennings, deep drop. Jeremiah Johnson brought down by Enoch Muamba, former first overall pick with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Spent some time in the NFL with Indianapolis, then the Alouettes, Dallas, and then Saskatchewan, and is back with the Alouettes again. And this is what this guy does. He flies around.
Yeah, I mean, Enoch Muamba last year was a big year for him because it kind of got him back in the groove. You look at the course of his career, and really last year was the first time since 2013 that he played more than 5 games, playing 17 of 18 a year ago.
Alouettes look to rush 3. They do. Jennings has time, pulls it back, and runs right into the Alouettes front line. And Fabian Foote drops him.
Fabian Foote is a guy from whom the Alouettes are hoping for big things here in his second CFL season. He's the one down man on the nose. 3-man rush versus 5 offensive linemen. You need to see the play end that way when you're the BC Lions.
Master Marauder, Fabian Foote. Ty Long tries this again, and no, it's not going to work again. So the single point once more makes it a 1-point game. And these points do add up. We'll see how they add up at the end of the game, but Ty Long would have preferred that inside the 10-yard line. Odell Willis, the old mayor of Winnipeg. Odell Willis brings his lunch bucket and his dance shoes to Vancouver now with more on the Big O, now wearing number 11. Here's Farhan.
Well, Rod, Odell Willis left Edmonton with a bit of a bad taste in his mouth. Late in the season, he was rotated in and out of the lineup, with the suggestion being at his age, he was wearing down a little bit. And I said, look, you turned 34 this year. Just how much do you have left in the tank? And he said, listen, pass rushers are better when they get older. Receivers are a dime a dozen. And he pointed to guys like John Bowman and Charleston Hughes, who got his 100th sack last night in a 3-sack performance. And he said, we get better as we go. He has no doubt in his ability to last 18 games and get to 100 sacks this season. And he knows his place in history. When the cameras turned off, he got up and said, I may not get there before Charleston this year, but I might be the first to get to 100 at the youngest age. He knows the numbers and is motivated by them.
Well, Odell Willis and the BC Lions, a little bit of a delay here. Unless he goes over and sacks the streaker that we have on the field. And security's coming out. And he does get hammered by Bola Combo, who just went over and knocked down. No, that wasn't. That was Marcel Young. Marcel Young went over and just knocked down the intruder. Young's wearing number 8. Number that Lucambo used to wear. And I don't think that guy, well, first of all, he's going to spend some time probably in the Who Scout team. I don't think he's ever going to try that again. Yeah. Ever. And that might, you know what, that might prevent anybody from ever trying that again.
Yeah, we'll just say Marcel Young got a pretty good piece of it.
Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. 10-9 ball game. Past the midway point of the second quarter. Willie, still perfect. Eugene Lewis, first catch as an Alouette. Talked about Odell Willis, who's been the mayor in so many cities. Apparently he's out of office now.
The mayor is retired. The mayor, he's been impeached twice, so, you know, I done had my run. You know, you only get 2 terms, so, you know, I'm just going to be an average civilian now, you know. Ride off in the sunset, enjoy the beaches, you know, enjoy the nice scenery, the food.
Drew Willie, and there's the first incompletion. Looking for Chris Williams. Odell Willis is one of the best pass rushers this league has ever seen, no doubt. He is one of the most colorful characters.
Well, he suggested he wants to be an average civilian. He can be a civilian, but there's nothing average about anything Odell Willis does.
I guess we could call him Citizen Willis. No longer the mayor. And based on some mayors' reputations, I don't know if you want to get into politics anymore. Odell off that edge. Solomon Elamimian as well. Willie back to pass, and coming back to the football is Chris Williams. Right near the first down marker.
A nice effort here by Chris Williams, working back to the ball, and then an awareness to scramble and pick up those yards to get the first down.
Been impressed with the way Drew Willie is standing in and delivering here tonight so far. Chris Williams trying to, again, resuscitate his career.
Odell's been working on the bull rush. Gets underneath Xavier Fulton on that one.
Terrell Sutton follows some blocks. Looks like he's got another first down. The BC 43-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a more underrated player
I agree
in the
with
Canadian
you.
Football League than Terrell Sutton, but he has been terrific here thus far. You know, and his work in the ground game, the job being done by the offensive line in the ground game, is going to be very important in helping keep that BC defensive front honest.
Second and short yardage inches. Willie keeps it conservative and will move the sticks on this play. And one of the reasons perhaps that Sutton has been so underrated is because the Alouettes have been so mediocre the last few years, and really not just under the radar, off the grid.
Yeah, no question. And we talked about it off the top. When you're chasing in games, It often means, particularly in the second half, that you're not running the football. And it doesn't matter how good your running back is. He's just not as involved as he should be.
Willie now in pursuit. Tucks it and will step out of bounds right near the initial line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they tried to set up a screen on the right side. But the BC Lions kind of sniffed that out, got underneath it. Took away the option. Willie just doing what he could to prevent a loss of yards. Keep an eye on the right side of the offensive line. They tried to bring Terrell Sutton out underneath a convoy of blockers.
Second down and 10. Appears to be a throwing down for Drew Willies. Looked good so far tonight. The Alouettes nursing a 1-point lead. Getting close to the 3-minute warning before halftime. Protection here for Willie. Now the pocket closes. And down he goes. And Junior Luke has his sack.
Luke, the second-year defensive tackle out of University of Montreal. Come from that right A gap. Just a little miscommunication as you see the two defenders twist. You need guard and tackle to make a switch there, and you wonder with the new right tackle in there, Reuben Carter, they didn't communicate the switch well.
There's a no yards, it looked like, or was it? No, there is no flag on the play. Chris Rennie had touched that football, so a long field here for the BC Lions. Junior Luke, pair of sacks last year in his rookie season. Here's his first of 2018. Victim, Drew Willie. For the BC Lions, this could have been no yards had he scooped it right there, but touched it with his fingertips. And so it looked like a long field for the Lions, but there was a hold, a late call on the Montreal Alouettes, so there's a reboot here. Lions should get more favorable field position as Boris Beatty goes the other way.
Kicking away from Rainey.
Good kick. Bounces down to the 10-yard line. Rainey picking his way out, and it's better field position. Before they head to the locker room. Opening weekend in the CFL. Some quarterbacks in that studio tonight. Receiver and buddy Rod Smith. See you guys at halftime. Chris Rainey's first touch. Offensively, and a great tackle. Shoestring tackle that time. That may have prevented a big gain by Dominique Ellis.
Yeah, I don't think we're talking big gain saved here. I think we're talking touchdown saved here. Dominique Ellis is the last man who's going to have a shot at the lightning quick Chris Rainey. Catches his knee right there to trip him up.
Ellis turns to Montreal, spent some time in Hamilton out of South Carolina State. There's a fumbled football. Ball's on the turf. And Ryan Burnham may have the best hands on that field. Is able to scoop that up.
Yeah, they're trying to run that slot sweep to Corey Watson, who's the inside slot coming from the boundary. Closed his arms a little bit early, didn't let the quarterback place the ball on his navel. Pops out. Creating second and very long situation.
And 18 under 2 to go. Alouettes could get the ball back here. Chance to extend the lead. Jennings in trouble. He grounds the ball. I'm not sure he got that to the line of scrimmage.
Chris Rainey is contending that they're trying to set up a screen. Rainey, whether someone fell on his legs or he got tackled, I'm not sure, but he was on the ground with an Alouette player at the end of the play. He's looking for a pass for an interference or illegal contact call.
There was a late flag on that grounding call, it looks like right now, by Jonathan Jennings as the officials commiserate here. Mike Sherman looks on. Tonight his first head coaching job in the Canadian Football League.
Watch Chris Rainey here. He's setting up for a screen. As he tries to get out, Jamal Westerman flat out tackles him, leaving Jennings.
There's no infraction for intentional grounding. Number 2 is in the area of the incomplete pass.
Well, regardless, they'll have to kick this away. And the Alouettes will get it with 1:46 remaining.
Westerman and the Alouettes got away with one there.
Yeah, Brady trying to plead his case. Alouettes struck first here tonight. Touchdown by Eugene Lewis after a fumble at the goal line by Chris Williams. Lions tied it up on Shaq Johnson's score. Field goal, then a couple of singles. That's where we're at here. Opening night for the Lions and the Owls. Booming kick. Former Lion Steph Logan heads back a couple times and really only has about 3 or 4 yards. We're only a few days away from week 2. Thursday Night Football presented by the Brick. Ottawa Redblacks see their first bit of action against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Bombers and Owls on Friday Night Football. Along with the Cats and Eskimos partner, we'll see that game. Cats losing to the Stampeders today. The Grey Cup rematch next Saturday against the Toronto Argonauts. Getting ready for week 2 already. I've seen some interesting results and great play as always in week 1. Chris Williams. Not to mention an epic game that dragged on into the wee hours of the morning that everybody's talking about. And that's the hazards of weather. Sometimes that's also the Canadian Football League.
You know it. You know it as we see Chris Williams. To use that speed as a horizontal stretch guy rather than going vertical on that play.
Williams, who burst into the CFL, sizzled when he was a Hamilton Tiger Cat. Came back kick after kick. Most outstanding rookie, a CFL All-Star. Willie, quick one to Jackson. Willie got leveled. No flag. Jackson can't hang on. And still another punt coming up, and the Lions will get it back once more as Alouette is slow to get up.
Keep an eye once again on the former Alouette. Gabe Napton delivers the quarterback pressure, contributing to that incompletion.
Goes through a lot of war paint, doesn't he? Not enough of his ink on his arms. But
been through a lot of wars
yes,
here in the Canadian
has.
Football League. I think this is a guy for whom the change of scenery is going to serve him well, and particularly when you look at some of the guys he's playing with on that defensive line, to have Odell Willis, a dominant pass rusher on the opposite end, and Davon Coleman, a guy who I think is one of the top interior pass rushers in the Canadian Football League as well.
Inspired by the Ultimate Warrior. Paints that face up. Former Wyoming Cowboy. Beat Colorado. 3 seasons in Montreal. 32 sacks. And this doesn't look good. This is newcomer right tackle Reuben Carter.
Yeah, this is going to create some concerns for the Alouettes offensive line. I imagine we'll likely see Ryan Bombin bump out from guard to tackle.
They also have Kirby Fabian and Sean Jamieson on the depth chart. Fabian, a former Lion. We'll watch that line when they come out offensively again. Right now they have to kick it back to the Lions, who will have time again. Beatty. Big kick. And it flies out of bounds. So the Lions will take over near their 34-yard line, and Jonathan Jennings, who has been impressive in game 1, 10 of 11, 98 yards with the touchdown, has just over a minute to work with before halftime. That ball looked like
they're between the 20s. The
It
ball
is
landed on the
well,
sideline.
there is
It's
a
out of
flag.
bounds in the
Number
air.
14.
Yeah, there is a flag on the
10-yard
far
penalty
side.
from where out of bounds. First down, BC.
Just to clarify, for those of you who don't know, the ball must land inbounds when you kick it between the 20s, cannot fly out. This clearly went out. Did not see the flag. It was thrown on that far sideline. That's out. That's the second time that's happened tonight to Boris Beatty.
Well, and what they're often trying to do, when BC has one returner back, they're anticipating a ball punted into the short side. So Rainey's going to cheat to that side to try and get the ball on the ground so he can't field it. They're often trying to punt away from him and, you know, overcorrecting, I suppose, and the ball's sailing out of bounds.
Jennings. Second incompletion. There is a penalty on the play. Minute 9 to go before halftime. That flag was thrown right away. It looks like it might be against the Lions.
Offside. BC, number 16. That penalty is declined. Second down.
Yeah, Brian Burnham a little early. Ahead of the play on his waggle. Guy coming off back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for the Lions.
Second down at 10. Jennings, the stutter step, now decides to go and cuts back and is going to get the first down, but there's a flag down, and that's likely a hold against the Lions. Looks like the Alouettes will get this ball back again, and in the span of 40 seconds, we've seen the team trade possessions 3 times now.
Holding. BC, number 63. 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Second and 20 yards.
Keep an eye on the left edge of your screen. Right tackle Javon Olafioye. Got in trouble on the redirect again. This is the great challenge of playing offensive line. We've talked about it before, Rod. The one position in sports where you play a lot of the game with your back to the ball. So let's see where it is.
A stop here by Montreal, Dwayne, and Jennings is going down. Sacked. And the Alouettes, after this sack, as those Westerman brothers make their presence felt, Jamal Westerman, his first sack as a Montreal Alouette. Not only is it a big sack, with time left.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Montreal, number 15. It's a 10-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Sack taken away. 10-yard penalty. Manageable again for the Lions, so the Owls might not get the ball back here. And that actually, even though Westerman was on top, that was Woody Barron, the newcomer, who put him first. But it won't matter. Does not count after the penalty. 56 to go. And the Owls seeking a stop here. Jennings pitching it out. And now the Lions will boot it to them. Ricky Collins, his first catch. BC line, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider.
Yeah, Collins, a guy who's kind of looking to get his career back on track after a great start with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders a couple years ago. He's bounced around since. Stop at Hamilton along the way.
Timeout, Montreal. Timeout.
Timeout here, 49 to go. Need a good return from Steph Logan, and then Drew Willie has to go to work to get it in field goal position for Boris Beatty, at the very least.
Saw Mike Sherman there, communicating briefly with special teams coordinator Mickey Donovan.
Funny, Dwayne, beginning of this game it was all offense, and now both defenses have dug in, ratcheted the screws here.
Yeah, and I think settled down. You know, as we discussed, the defenses were very aggressive early. I think everybody anxious to make a big play. But now they've kind of settled down.
Look at this kick. Almost hit the scoreboard. Long 67 yards. Mike Sherman seeking an identity for his Montreal Alouettes in 2018.
Well, I hope we're the type of team that doesn't beat itself, you know, by penalties and turnovers and things like that, which, you know, so many games are lost even before the ball snapped because of alignment, assignment errors, procedural penalties, things of that nature. So I just want to be a team that plays aggressive, doesn't beat itself, doesn't make the stupid mistake that costs the ball game.
Alouettes, a lot of turnovers last year, the most penalized team in the Canadian Football League. Second last in sacks allowed, pressures. Quarterbacks were under siege. They were basically last or second last in almost every offensive category.
Yeah, and you know, you heard Mike Sherman talk about the self-inflicted wounds, but as well looking to tighten things up on the O-line. It's Sean Jamieson, by the way, who is in now at right tackle.
For Western Mustang, long field for Willie. Terrell Sutton with some blocking help will get a first down. Clock ticks down to 32 seconds. Still time. A couple of passes for Willie can get it into field goal range here. They'll move quickly to the line of scrimmage. The biggest thing for Mike Sherman, perhaps to establish that identity, is to try to get a win. I know it's only game one, but this is an Alouette team that lost 11 straight to end 2017. Completely lost their mojo. Some open running here now for Sutton. Great straight arm. Has a chance to get out of bounds and probably should. He does. 8 up 14 seconds. It's time for about 2 plays to get it into field goal range. They'll have to be quick. That little juke.
A juke and a straight arm. Gets him free.
Second down and 5. Willie looks to his left, incomplete pass, so 14 seconds. It'll be 3rd and 5.
And it was once again Gabe Napton, former Alouette, paying a visit to his ex-teammates in that backfield. Here's shake up the timing of that play.
Here's the thing, 40. Chris Rainey gets the ball. See if Boris Beatty uses up any clock. Likely won't. Rainey could possibly put this in field goal position as well, or take it to the house. Alouettes did not want to give the ball back to the Lions.
We'll see if they kick left again here to try and get the ball on the ground, not let Rainey catch it on the fly.
It's going up the middle. Big kick. 10 seconds. So Rainey's going to have to take this all the way if he can. And 4 seconds to go. And Jonathan Jennings is either going to take a knee or take a shot. 3 seconds to go before halftime.
Well, in the old days of 2017, in challengeable illegal contact, you might have been a little more likely
to take
that shot. We'll see what the Lions do here.
That is so yesterday. Thankfully. Wally Buono chatting with his returner Rainey, who is so dangerous. They'll take the knee. They'll take a 1-point deficit into the locker room. And the offense is flying early on. And then the defense is standing up at halftime. Let's send it back to Rod and the guys in the studio where the Alouettes lead 10-9 at the half. In that headset.
Yeah, Wally just doesn't want to mess up the hair.
Yeah. Your old coach, of course. Ty Long with that big foot. Leaving it there for Ryder Stone. Dartmouth University out of Calgary, and Drew Willie. Jonathan Jennings went 10 for 10. Drew Willie was 6 for 6 out of the shoot, including this bomb to Chris Williams that should have been his first CFL touchdown in BC in Montreal, but it was not.
Yeah, Drew Willie was terrific in the first half. You heard Matty talk about it during the break as well. You know, that ability and willingness to stand in the pocket and make throws. He looks like he's playing with a lot of confidence for the first time in a couple of years.
There was a ball that was labeled incomplete. Lions thought it was fumbled. Dyshawn Davis scooped it up. Solomon Elimimian, the contact on Patrick Lavoie. So it's second down. There's Willie's numbers. 10 of 14, 183. Very good for Drew Willie. And the touchdown. And those weapons that he has. He's talked about Chris Williams, the former Cat and Lion. BJ Cunningham, Ernest Jackson's been heard from tonight. So too Gino Lewis. See how he hooks up with them again. Willie looking to his left, and that is picked off. There's a penalty flag, though. This could be interference. And it's Gary Peters weaving his way inside the 30-yard line. But that flag was way back in that area, and Drew Willie's pointing that way. This interception will be taken away because of interference.
Illegal contact on a receiver. BC, number 11. That's a 10-yard penalty. First down, Montreal.
Odell Willis. Illegal contact on a receiver.
See contact away from where the ball is thrown. Odell Willis is the end man on the line of scrimmage.
Retreats.
Yeah, he's working out towards that flat. You see him jam the receiver off of his route. Beyond 5 yards from the line.
Both teams also establishing the run. Montreal a little more with Terrell Sutton. BC with Jeremiah Johnson, two running backs who, like most of the running backs in the Canadian Football League, all carry pretty much the same birth certificate, do they not? Not from where they are, but the year they were born. Most running backs, starting running backs in the Canadian Football League, in and around the age of 30.
And such a big part of the job in the Canadian Football League as a running back revolves around blocking. You better understand pass protection, and sometimes that's something that takes a little time. Makes veteran guys so valuable.
Average age of all the starting running backs in week one, just under 30 years of age, 29.9.
It's about that trust. Offensive coordinators and head coaches having trust. I mean, we talk about so often about the importance in this league offensively of protecting the quarterback. From a defensive point of view, pressuring the quarterback. So when you've got a running back who can really help you out in terms of that protection, it's huge.
Boris Beatty, will he keep it away from Chris Rainey? He's going right at him this time. Let's see what Rainey does. Hops in front of him, and Rainey's brought down. And in the CFL on the sideline, here's Farhan.
Travis Lulay in street clothes. Don't expect that to change anytime soon. Now, he did take part in training camp, but did not practice last week. Now, no setbacks, but the club has adopted a bit more of an aggressive rehab approach, and they knew once they changed the protocol, he was going to need some more time to recover without doing anything. So he didn't practice this week. The club has a bye next week, and they hope that when he does get back after that he'll be significantly better and will have taken a big jump in his progress. For his part, Lulay says that he needs to take at least 2 more weeks in practice after he feels he's 100%, which is at least a couple weeks away. So best case for him is about 4 weeks before he returns, but he's being aggressive as he possibly can right now and staying as engaged as he can in all the game plans as the club prepares for week 1.
Thank you, Farhan. A guy who a couple of years ago people worried about his future, a guy who has been resilient, been able to come back, and is always a present. Lions had a problem with that read option last time. A communication problem in the backfield, a loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Comes the blitz once more. Jennings, crossing pattern, and good D from the Alouettes, and something we're used to saying, no matter who's been in there for Montreal. And that's Brandon Dozier, who was last year's Rookie of the Year for the Alouettes. Dozier making the play on Brian Burnham.
Yeah, Dozier spent some time last year at free safety, played a little halfback, played a little bit at the nickel linebacker spot as well. This year they're looking for him to play free safety full-time, but a very versatile athlete, which is a perfect fit in today's CFL defenses.
Alouettes team that usually leads with its defense again. Ty Long almost looked like it hit the score clock. It's so high. Steph Logan trying to get the edge. There are flags everywhere, including late when he got knocked out of bounds on a 54-yard boomer. As Drew Willie gets ready to bring his offense back on the field here in this second half with his team up 1 and trying to end an 11-game losing streak. Starting it off with a W here in Vancouver. Lots of football.
The ball. You see the two little black things up here. Those are parts speakers on the bottom of the scoreboard. Now you notice when he punts the ball, how close he's coming to those. Just tremendous hang time as well as the distance he's getting, which is allowing the coverage guys all sorts of time to get down the field.
Drew Willie stands in, fires to the far side. Does hit the score clock. It is considered a dead ball, a reboot. Last time you and I were amazed by that. The score clock's a little bit different than it was 7 years ago when we were here for the Vanier Cup and we saw this young kicker named Boris Beatty who was kicking for Laval and routinely in practice was aiming for that score clock.
Kicking the ball like he was mad at it.
Hits a long way up there. Willie, crosser. Eugene Lewis cutting back, and Gino Lewis, who we have heard nothing but rave reviews about from Kavis Reed, the general manager of the Alouettes, and Mike Sherman and Drew Willie, talking about this guy being a breakout performer in 2018.
Yeah, a guy who spent much of last season on the practice roster, just saw action in a couple of games. During our conversation with Kavis Reed during the preseason, much of the discussion turned to this young man and what a tremendous job he had done during training camp to earn the trust of the quarterbacks and that he would really become a go-to guy for them.
Terrell Sutton bashes forward, already has a touchdown. Gino Lewis, Eugene Lewis, has a touchdown tonight on a fumble recovery. Couple of receptions, there he is. So the Alouettes lost one Lewis in Nick, who retired, and gained another. And there's so many similarities between the two of them, are there not? Well, they both are great pass catchers.
Both play receiver, both doing a pretty good job of it. Tell you what, if Eugene Lewis can turn out anything like Nick Lewis, the Alouettes will be absolutely thrilled. Congrats to Nick on a great career.
Absolutely. All-time receptions leader in the Canadian Football League, a guy who surpassed Superman, who is in the building here tonight, G. Roy Simon. We had a chance to chat with him before the ball game. And Nick Lewis, who rode off into the sunset, and what a way he did last year. Nick.
I'd like to think that Nick hurtled off into the sunset.
Yes, he did. One thing I miss is our pregame conversations with Nick Lewis. One of the funniest, generous guys this league has seen.
Great character, a guy been a very good leader for these Alouette teams over the last couple of years. And when you see the development of some of these young receivers, a guy like Eugene Lewis, who was with this team last season, and others, BJ Cunningham, another one that comes to mind, a guy who's really come into his own during his time with the Alouettes. No doubt in my mind that Nick Lewis played a role in grooming those guys.
Different receiving core this year, though, and got some flat-out burners, including this guy and Lewis, who, by the way, in the offseason played in the American Basketball Association, the minor league. He's a good basketball player in his high school days. Stays in shape playing basketball. So 3rd and 1 here for the Alouettes. They're going for it. And looks like they will get progress on the lunge by Willie and will move the chains.
Well, much of Mike Sherman's area of expertise and his background as a football coach, as an offensive line coach, so you know he's going to pay special attention to the development of that group over the course of this season. Big improvement with the return of Ryan Bombin. They also drafted Trey Rutherford out of the University of Connecticut, 2nd overall, another offensive lineman.
1st and 10. Willie with Steph Logan beside him. Flags fly. Rolling, and throwing it out of bounds. Willie is saying it's against the Lions. Might have thought he had a free one there.
Odell Willis in full pursuit. Odell has, by the way, stopped to watch the replay on the big screen.
What a glorious career this guy's had, Odell Willis.
Yeah, and a guy who, give him a lot of credit, has really matured over the course of his time in the Canadian Football League, really takes pride in his role as a leader, and that's a big part of the reason why he was brought here. You know, and Hervey
Offside, BC, number 85. Offside, Montreal, number 91. Those penalties offset. It'd be repeat first down.
And Hervey saw the impact that Odell Willis had, not just on the field, but also in the locker room during their time together in Edmonton, when there was an opportunity to acquire him here. When Mr. Hervey became the general manager here in BC, a guy who was handpicked by Wally Buono as his successor for that role. One of the first things he did was to go out and get Odell Willis.
They loaded up. They only rushed 3. So time for Willie, a wobbler. Lost his grip on that, looking for Ernest Jackson. Drew Willie says, my bad. Drew Willie, who as Marcel Young goes down.
Yeah, Young was in coverage out there. Not sure if this is a cramp as he appears to be grabbing his calf, or if
Odell Willis.
You cringe a little bit at the someone grabs the back of their leg. It looks like a cramp as they're stretching it out. But in this day and age, it's the bottom matchup here, he and Ernest Jackson. You hold your breath a little bit every time you see someone go down clutching the back of their leg, worrying that it's going to be an Achilles injury. But
it looks like a cramp. Odell Willis was bringing his training expertise.
Medical training. He's no longer the mayor. He is now the doctor.
The doctor. Dr. Willis. And so Marcel Young, who played alongside that defense, the Eskimos, with Odell. Key acquisition for these BC Lions out of Jackson State. Like Odell, a Grey Cup champion back in 2015 with the Eskimos. Odell Willis just part of the seismic shift in players in the offseason. This was a very unique offseason in so many ways, with so many stars shifting to other galaxies.
A bit of a look at the work of Odell Willis over the years and across the country, especially across the West.
And also part-time with TSN at one point. Changed those numbers, now wears 11.
I didn't like the pay at TSN, so we went back to playing football.
We have seen this game go from fireworks early on offensively to stalemate, kind of a tug-of-war defensively. It's 10-7 after the first quarter. Past the midway point in the third, we've only had 2 points since that time. Both singles by Ty Long. Willie's getting sacked.
We were mentioning some of the former Eskimos, Odell Willis, Marcel Young.
And another.
Otha Foster didn't want to be left out. There you see number 31. He's coming on the blitz. Again, this is a situation. Terrell Sutton knows he's got him, and he sets to pick him up. But you got to be so aware of where that launch point is. Again, you're playing with your back to where the ball is. The defender can see where the ball is. Sometimes he's got an advantage in terms of knowing the angle, where you don't as a blocker.
Beatty angles this kick. Again, it's bouncing back, and this is going to be no yards. So the Alouettes, who gave up more sacks than any other team last year, have given up 5 tonight, including sack number 1 in a Lion uniform by Otha Foster III. Applause all around. 10-9 ball game in Vancouver.
Finally. Suit up.
I'm in.
Finally.
Call for Jonathan Jennings and the BC Lions. Jeremiah Johnson, JJ to JJ, and squirms for a first down, but will this count? There's a penalty flag down again, and we've seen a lot of orange nylon since that first quarter. It looks like it's going against the Lions, so that play again taken off the board.
Holding BC, number 67. That's a 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Two teams that came out like world beaters, and since the second quarter on have kind of played like where they finished last year, bottom of their divisions, trying to right their ships. There's that hold. This year, a lot of work to be done. The Lions rebuild, so do the Alouettes. A lot of newcomers for BC. Here's the blitz. There goes the ball over the top. Chris Rainey on a slant pattern. And once again, a flag, and this might be going against the Alouettes.
Montreal, number 55. 15 yards to end of play, automatic first down.
I love
BC.
the execution here from the BC Lions. They know it's a quick pass. Watch the offensive line. Cut them, get their hands down, because you know that's where your throwing lanes are. That's where the ball's coming. Try and take advantage of the speed of Chris Rainey on that quick slant.
Jamal Westerman penalized for roughing the passer. That late contact. Jennings to Arsenault. Manny is appreciating what tomorrow is all about. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. So many of these young players and older players came into football because of their dads. Have lineage to their fathers who played the game. Jeremiah Johnson, hog-tied, brought down.
Jermaine Robinson, the veteran, first year with the Alouettes, but a guy who spent some time with the Ottawa Red Blacks and Hamilton Tiger Cats. The guy grabbing onto that leg, holding on.
Third down and 1. Quarterback sneaks in. 4.5 to go here in the third quarter, and the Lions aiming to take the lead here.
Just pushed by that offensive line.
Jarius Jackson following those plays from the sideline. Now Jennings ducks, takes off, chopped down. Good tackle, a one-handed tackle that tripped up Jennings. Otherwise, he might have been racing to the end zone.
Yeah, terrific play call. They've been using Johnson on the run. They set it up, get those ends pinching inside a little bit, and let Jennings use his legs. Great play call, even better tackle. Jamal Westerman, who was the man who recovered to bring him down.
Blitzing again, pegging it down to the 20-yard line. Corey Watson, former Bomber and Eskimo, with the grab, but that will be short, and it'll be 3rd and 3. Too long to go for it, so Ty Long comes out to give the Lions their first lead of the ball game. Long was 87%, almost 89% rather, kicker last year. Was second in the Canadian Football League. Cody Fajardo, the former Argo backup, is his holder. 3rd on the depth chart here in BC. Long puts it through, and the Lions move up by 2. A while there, it looked like we might have a lot of points on the board. Not so much right now. The kicker's doing the scoring. Ty Long buries this 12-10 lead in Vancouver on this Saturday night, week 1 of the CFL season.
Hunting season.
Absolutely. You know, I told the guys if we won this thing and I got one of these, I'd wear it at least one time this season. We do it on opening nights, and like it took us long enough to get one, so we might as well enjoy it and work on our national recruiting base. So thanks for plugging us, guys.
Hey, Coach, I do want to ask you, though, how proud you are not only of your team, but also those guys who have made it to the Canadian Football League or beyond that you have had help mentor through the years?
Well, it's unbelievable. You know, we had Cody Husband, who's a center here, played for us in our early years. And this year we graduated 11 players. 6 of those kids have got a chance to play college football. About 40 over the years. But all the high schools in British Columbia do a great job promoting their players, making sure they're academically ready. And so many that move on to the Canadian Football League. So it's fun to be a part of.
Well, congratulations, Coach Farhan Lalji, who is trying to become the Wally Guano of high school football coaches. So Farhan, you only have to coach for another 40 years. And another 2 and out here for the Alouettes, who have really struggled now offensively, and maybe that has a lot to do with that BC Lions defense that's starting to pick it up as well.
Well, and you wonder about the Alouettes as well, just as this game goes on, right? Traveling across 3 time zones. They didn't arrive here in Vancouver until last night. So fatigue potentially becoming a factor as we approach the 4th quarter of this game.
Procedure, Montreal, number 40. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
As great as those moments in BC Place, there haven't been many visiting team great moments through the years because of the time zones, because of this house of horrors for visiting teams through the years. And the Montreal Alouettes, last time they won in BC was back in 2015, but have had not a lot of success. In fact, not a lot of success against the Lions. Have lost 5 in a row over the last couple of years. Now Rainey cutting back. And he's going backwards. But look out. Speed to burn here. Kicks it into another gear. Chris Rainey. Great return. When it looked like he would be stopped in his tracks, Rainey turns on the Jets.
Well, we talk all the time about the speed of Chris Rainey, but part of what allowed this return to stay alive was the balance of Chris Rainey. He runs into contact right here. He looks like it should be done. Keeps his footing. There you've got someone on his legs, runs through an arm tackle. It's not until that point that he really gets to use the speed to make things happen.
24-yard return, his best of the new season. Into Montreal territory. On the roll is Jennings. A spiral and a connection again with Brian Burnham. He's caught more balls than any other BC receiver so far tonight.
That's the way to work.
Great timing, great shot from Jonathan Jennings here. As we see the route, that stem release. 2 receivers hoping to create a little bit of confusion. These are both sort of coming out of the same slot. Just nice timing on the out to Burnham there from Jennings.
2nd and 1 behind the pile, and looks like that should be enough for a 1st down in the final minute of this 3rd quarter. We had a field goal scored so far in it, just a pair of singles in the 2nd quarter. So they were lighting it up in that 1st quarter. Native of Columbus, Ohio, played his college ball at Saginaw Valley State. This is his 3rd straight opening night start for the BC Lions. Quick hitter, Arsenault. Inside the 30-yard line. Daddy like Drew Willie, who became a new daddy. Father's Day, very important for those guys.
Yeah, their first
Tomorrow.
one. Rookies all over again.
Inside the 30-yard line. Should be the final play, 3rd quarter, barring penalty. Jeremiah Johnson plows forward. That's it for quarter number 3. They'll change sides, and the Lions on the move right now with some momentum offensively. And Jonathan Jennings having a great night here. His opening night in 2018 as the Lions look for the W. Willie feeling the heat right now. 4th quarter straight ahead. And our final game of 2nd and 4. Getting close to the red zone. High snap for Jennings. Pulls it back and lets it fly. End zone. And it looked like they were out of bounds. And he was out of bounds for Manny Arsenault. And that one was slow to develop for Jennings. Good thing he got that away because the snap was high and they struggled to get that ball to the end zone earlier.
And there you saw Jennings as that one floated up a little bit to his right. Arsenault with nice separation as he works towards that kind of flat corner. But Jennings just overthrew him a little bit. Part of that may come from the snap being high and maybe being a tad late, creating a smaller window for Arsenault.
Ty Long, who just gave the Lions the lead, looks to extend it, make it a 5-point game from the 30. Fajardo puts it down and Long puts it through. Still a one-possession game. Lots of football here into the fourth quarter. Late into the night in the East. Prime time here on the West. And as it wasn't so long ago, we were calling games when Jarius Jackson was a quarterback in the Canadian Football League.
The guy who has transitioned seamlessly into the world of coaching and has made a pretty quick ascension through the ranks to become the BC Lions offensive coordinator this season. Spent some time with the coaching staff in Edmonton. Moved with Chris Jones to Saskatchewan. Returning where he spent his playing career on the West Coast.
Drew Willie, double tight end set. Now going deep, and they're saying incomplete. Chris Williams wanted a call, an interference call. You could still see Marcel Young grabbing that leg that he was cramping up on earlier, still limping, and he's going over to the sideline, it looks like.
And they're just looking all the way to use the speed of Chris Williams. Get that running start, starting him off the line from the wide receiver spot. And the ball's just a little bit underthrown, which allows Marcel Young to catch up, as Williams had to wait for him.
Drew Willie 2 for his last 7 after going 10 for 12. Try to hump one into BJ Cunningham, and TJ Lee breaks that up. TJ on BJ, and incomplete pass.
Yeah, this is a great play by a terrific football player in TJ Lee, right with him on that route. Terrific job. Keep that left hand in to break up the play.
Well, the dangerous Rainey, the Rain Man, is back. A couple of years ago, it seemed almost every game was bringing one back. Just one punt return touchdown last year. Can't we say just one, but we were used to having a mittful. Teams were starting to kick it away from them, and you wonder this time if Boris Beatty will try to kick it away from him again. Right down Main Street. Rainey tries to accelerate. 7 or 8 yards on that return. Jonathan Jennings turning back the clock to 2016 tonight. High percentage. Almost a perfect game so far. And most of all, his Lions.
Visualization is, the most important thing. So just working on that, making sure that I understand all my concepts and making sure that I'm understanding what we're trying to attack on each and every play.
Jennings going deep. Dwayne, you know Dr. Frank Lodato. He's been around with Wally Buono. Goes back to the 80s in the Montreal Alouettes. He's been with him for a while. He's one of the first ever sports psychologists. He's worked in football. He's worked in basketball. Stanley Cup with the Boston Bruins. Rene Paredes works with him. A lot of kickers work with, they call him kind of the kicker whisperer as well. But what do you ever take from Frank Lodato when he was around?
Well, I mean, Frank has been around so long, as you said. He's one of the pioneers in his field and remains one of the leaders in the area of sports psychology. That if Frank's giving you advice, you're best to follow it. I'll put it that way.
Whatever advice he's given, it's only 3/4 of his first game in, but Jonathan Jennings just seems different than he did last year, although that play fell apart at the line of scrimmage and they'll have to kick it away. But there seems to be a different vibe around Jonathan Jennings so far.
Yeah, I think he's got a little bit of his swagger back. You go back to 2015, Jonathan Jennings was a rookie, and You know, I think sometimes a rookie having success, some of it can come from the fact that he doesn't know that he's not supposed to be successful. You know, that ignorance. And that second year, his confidence grew and the performance went along with it as he had a second training camp under his belt. But I think last year, really, he didn't necessarily know how to handle adversity because he hadn't faced it in a long, long time as a football player.
Steph Logan slips the 15-yard line, brings it up to the 20. Along offensively in 2017. Need to get their offense going here in the fourth. Jonathan Jennings good here tonight. Woody Barron this time catches up with JJ.
Holding call on the play. Right side of your screen. Little grab and throw.
Which means they will have a reboot here. And one thing that the Lions have done a good job is covering, and they have been a great cover team the last few years. Special teams players. Steph Logan's longest return tonight, just 9 yards. The preeminent returners in the Canadian Football League. This is another big kick. Logan settles underneath it, decides to go back, and now goes forward. There's a couple blocks and basically ran about 50 yards to pick up a few. Better than that last field position before we went to break. Drew Willie and his Alouettes haven't scored since 27 seconds left in the first quarter, and is starting to show what they did or did not do last year. The offense struggled mightily.
Yeah, within this first game of the season, again, it is just the first game, 3 quarters in, but you don't want to fall into that 2017 run.
Early on did not look like that. Sparks. Drew Willie calls his own number, follows a block now and gets close to a first down is Solomon Elamimian, who is coming off another sensational season. Elamimian broke his own record for tackles in a Canadian Football League season. Former outstanding defensive player, most outstanding player, instant Hall of Famer. They go the other way on second down. And they will get the first down, but not quite the way they had designed that play.
That's a play call. Again, a bit of a key breaker, keep the defense honest in a second and short type situation, bringing the slot Eugene Lewis around. As typically you get those short yardage plays in the defense, everybody's crashing down towards the A gaps, thinking whether it's going to be a handoff inside or a quarterback sneak, what have you. Keep them honest with a play like that, so the end guys for future short yardage plays have to stay at home and leave some gaps for you to run through on the interior.
They've really abandoned the run with Terrell Sutton, and Drew Willie pitches over the top and has it picked off. Gary Peters, the former Eskimo, has his first interception as a Lion. Drew Willie's first pick of 2018 and the first turnover of the ball game, and one that Drew would love to have back.
Getting downfield, he's got to get just a little more arc on that football to lead him. The way he threw this football was just too shallow, underthrown, obviously an angle at which trajectory that allows Peters to pick that one off.
Jennings has to dance. He scrambles out and has tons of room. Hook slide down near the 30-yard line, and Jonathan Jennings, best scamper of the night. Pocket closed.
Oh, God, man.
Jennings takes off.
We talk about Jonathan Jennings' numbers throwing the football. As good as he's been with his arm in this football game, I think he may have been even better with his legs. The impact he's had running the football, really, quite frankly, gouging the Alouettes defense every time he pulls it down.
8 carries, 54 for Jennings. Slant. Setting up second and short yardage, that time to Rainey, who gets a hand up. Alouettes would like to hold this to the very least a field goal attempt. Keep it at a 1-possession ball game. Only real blemish so far from either quarterback. Drew Willie, that pick by Gary Peters. Trying to force that in. Jennings so far having a glorious opening night. Oh, good catch. First down. And that's Ricky Collins.
Yeah, it's been a quiet night for Ricky Collins, playing that wideout spot. A whole lot louder with that one. Great adjustment to the football, good body control. A pass thrown behind him.
Former Rider. Jennings, play action, calls his own number again, still on his feet. As they get close to that end zone inside the 10-yard line. It'll be second down now. Pals will look to try to make a stand here. There's Rich Stubler, the longtime assistant in so many cities and a former head coach in the league as well. Comes off the golf course basically to come back coaching again.
He's back where he belongs.
Yes, he is. Professor, one of the great defensive minds in our game through the years. Jennings, touchdown! And Ricky Collins, there is a penalty flag down on the far side.
I have a feeling this is going to be an offside against the Lions.
Offside. BC, number 16. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
So 5 yards, second down. And goal. So the Alouettes catch a big break here as the Lions jumped. There's 7 to go here in the fourth.
Brian Burnham, the wideout on the same side that ball's coming to as a man flagged.
Boy, that was
close.
close.
Start.
Put the flamingo there.
Yeah, no room for error when you're lined up on the line of scrimmage as opposed to a waggling slot.
Jennings, goal line, touchdown. And Corey Watson has his first major as a BC Lion. The offside, the Lions on the very next play put it in the end zone. Make it a 2-possession ball game past the midway point here in the fourth.
Yeah, Corey Watson, the middleman. Yeah, he's basically just going to post up.
See what? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Ty Long with a 32-yard point after. Make it a 12-point game. Lions could be well on their way to their first win of 2018. And 7 huge points off of one gigantic turnover.
Here we'll take another look. Everything's blocked up in the line of scrimmage. Corey Watson finds a soft spot, sits it down. Jonathan Jennings delivers.
An Alouette team that was minus 18 in the turnover ratio last year. The frustration from the professor. Defensive coordinator Rich Stubler. Up until that point, and that pass by Willie. And then the response by Jennings and company. This game was really a toss-up. Now, the Alouettes, who have done nothing offensively really since the second quarter. BC scored 15 straight. They need a spark maybe from their special team here. Jam of players up near the 30-yard line. So 6:06 to go for Drew Willie. And a costly interception.
Yeah, the one Drew Willie wishes he could have back. Just need a little bit more arc on on that toss. Right away, obviously, turning that ball over in your own territory. Quick conversation with his head coach, followed by a pat on the back. Drew Willie's got to get right back at it here.
2 for his last 9, had to pull it back and then thread the needle for B.J. Cunningham. For Gary Peters, that was an enormous interception and a perfect time. First CFL pick. The brand new team. That's one way to impress your new faithful. 2nd and 1. Here's a guy that they utilized heavily, mixing and matching, keeping their offense balanced in the first half. Hasn't been that balanced, and now they really can't go to him because they're down 12.
Time their enemy with about just over 5 minutes left in this football game. You know, that puts the pressure on Drew Willie and puts the pressure on the Alouettes offensive line here as Odell Willis and company can pin back their ears.
Need a quick strike. Willie out of the backfield. Chris Williams. Maybe the former Lion who started it off for the Montreal Alouettes. Come back to haunt his old mates. Need a big comeback here. Team that's lost 11 straight games back to last season. Was 3-15. And a very hard place to win. Willie out of the backfield. Sutton tripped up. It's going to be a 3rd down play, and they're going to have to stay. And Sutton gets hammered here. So again, it's Gary Peters in the vicinity.
Yes, Peters is the one that kind of spun him. Got his legs, and then as he was spinning, Otha Foster came in and got a pretty good shot on the running back when he was in a vulnerable position here.
Back of his neck and helmet, heavy shot. Sutton goes to the sideline. .45 in the Canadian Football League, though, can be an eternity. Still time for the Alouettes, but they're going to have to find the end zone. BC Lions jumped, and down the sideline races Steph Logan on his first offensive play of the night. Flag on the far side. Were the Lions drawn? It looked like they jumped at the line of scrimmage. It looks like it's against the Owls, though. A procedure call here. Alouettes, though, are saying it's against BC. Both teams are playing officials here.
I mean, someone right in front of the ball for BC clearly moved. I think there may have been movement as well from Montreal's right tackle, Sean Jameson, on the play.
Well, hence the finger pointing in each direction. 3:29 to go, moving close to the 3-minute warning. Mike Sherman's first game as a Canadian Football League head coach, former head coach in the National Football League and in the NCAA. Some time off and retirement, he said. Did not want to take the job, but
after review by the video official, we have procedure 57, Montreal. 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
So that went upstairs in his procedure.
Jameson has been in at right tackle, actually lines up as a tight end for the Alouettes on this play. A little bit of early motion.
And that made it 3rd and 11. 120 yards in penalties, the most penalized team last year. Mike Sherman said he wanted to clean that up. Still a lot of work to do. So they have to kick it away, and this is a huge punt that Rainey fields over the shoulder and starts galloping at his 20. Brings it up to the 35. Now the Alouettes defense needs a couple stops. Needs to get the ball back. A 12-point lead. CFL coverage on TSN continues next week. Thursday Night Football presented by the Brick. Rough Riders take on the Red Blacks. Friday Night Football doubleheader. Saturday it's the rematch of the Grey Cup, Stamps and Argonauts. Argonauts Lions and Calgary next Saturday, BMO Field. Tonight here in BC Place, the conclusion to week 1 in the Canadian Football League. It's been an adventurous one, to say the least. Edmonton Eskimos winning night 1 in Winnipeg, a long night. Lightning delays. Saskatchewan winning last night. Jeremiah Johnson stumbling, and Mitchell White has to get a piece of him. And a first down, BC. 3-minute warning. 2:44 away for the Lions to pick up win number 1. What has been a well-orchestrated game by their quarterback. And to all the dads out there, the football dads, enjoy your Sunday. Right now, the BC Lions enjoying their Saturday night under the big top here. Keep it a little conservative with Jeremiah Johnson hanging on to this lead. Just over 2 minutes to go. Key second down coming up now. The Alouettes really at this point need a stop. Could almost put this one in the books if they don't. 2-possession ball game.
We've talked about the BC Lions' desire to improve that offensive line in the offseason. A couple new offensive tackles. The return of Javon Olafioye, Joel Figueroa coming over from Edmonton. See if they can get behind this big offensive line and close things out here.
Johnson, a little extra effort, but likely bringing out the kick team. And they will. So Montreal gets the ball back. Still hope here. But an Alouette team that has not scored a point since the end of the first quarter, and a BC defense that lost in the shuffle. Should the Lions win, the headlines will obviously go to Jonathan Jennings in the offense. But this defense has been so stout. 5 sacks tonight, put a lot of pressure that first quarter on.
Well, they knew areas they wanted to get better as well. The defensive side of the ball.
13 men in the formation. BC. That's a 10-yard penalty. 3rd down.
BC defense that had some different faces in it too. Made life miserable from that first quarter onward for this guy. Alouettes look like they suffer their 12th straight loss. 11 in a row to end 2017. But if they can find a way to get one to the house in a hurry, they could make it very, very interesting. What a weapon that foot is. Ty Long again. Steph Logan. Stutter step. Up near the 17-yard line. Still a minute 40 to go, but time to hand out our Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by Nissan Titan, the official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Jonathan Jennings has had a fantastic rebound game to kick off what he hopes will be a fantastic rebound season. 20 of 24, throwing the football, great job taking care of it, no turnovers, and added to that, a new career high, 57 rushing yards in this football game. Jennings doing a nice job setting the tone for the new season for the BC Lions.
Catch made, far side, and not that we're being premature in giving the Lions the victory, but I'll tell you what, win or lose, Jonathan Jennings is the player of the game in this one.
Yeah, he's been the best player on the field, no question.
Top secret.
Travis Lulay, 1 point. In the near future, we'll see in a Lion uniform. Class guys in this league. Terrell Sutton, best get out of bounds too. 2nd in inches now. It's 3rd in inches, and they have to basically burn a play here to get that first down and set it up again. Now, again, for those of you watching down south and are a little unfamiliar with CFL rules and the way this game is played, there still is a chance the Owls would have to score and get the onside kick. We've seen stranger things happen, partner.
We certainly have.
But 3rd and 2 from the gun. Willie throwing will get the first down. Logan just gets up. Well, that should have been a sure 2 or 3 yards. Steph Logan struggles with his footing on that far sideline, but gets the first down.
Alouettes had to get a little bit creative in that situation in terms of finding a way to get the first down on a high percentage play and get out of bounds.
Well, will we see Chris Williams on a flyer here? Drew Willie hasn't gone deep since early in the ball game. And it looked like the Alouettes may have jumped offside, got a head start here.
Procedure. Montreal, number 59. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Xavier Fulton, the left tackle, procedure call. Some of the warts that were exhibited last year by the Alouettes offensively, we're starting to see come again early in this first game and early in this season.
Mike Sherman talk earlier in terms of the identity he wants this team to build, one that doesn't shoot itself in the foot. You don't want those unforced mental errors.
Out of the backfield again for Logan. And again, the Lions paint a bullseye on Steph Logan, not only in the return game, but offensively tonight. Marcel Young there, Solomon Elamimian giving chase. Time running out on the Owls now for sure. 2nd down and an area code. Wally Buono. Minute 3 from picking out win number 1 of the 2018 season.
The last season opening win of his career.
Trying to get out of bounds. They do there. Wally, who through the years has 5 Grey Cups as a head coach. Partner, you won a couple with him. So 1 as a player. Look, compared to all the other head coaches combined, Wally still leads the way.
Remarkable career.
273 wins, could be 274 here as Ernest Jackson gets the first down. Some point here, Drew Willie's got to take a shot.
Got a couple of burners out there to do it.
Here comes the blitz though. And Willie has to move that pocket. Out of the backfield is Jackson. And Ernest Jackson crashing into BC territory with 37 to go and maybe 15 more added on here.
Major foul, roughing the passer. BC, number 31. 15 yards from the end of the play, automatic first down.
With the Foster roughing the passer. So this can help. Don't go anywhere yet.
You're going to see Foster driving late, coming from the left side. You know, that's one that hurts for the BC Lions. I mean, still in a pretty good position, but they're willing to give up, you know, chunks of 8, 9, 10 yards on a play, but to hand them 15 free ones completely contradicts the philosophy at this point in the ballgame.
Alouettes with 37 to go have to put it in the end zone, have to get an onside kick, and then have to take it to the end zone again. Field goals will not do it right here. They need to take it to the house here now, because even with an onside kick, they're not going to be left with much time. Bahari trying to design something. BC Lions have the bye next week, and week 3 they'll be in Edmonton. Alouettes will be home to the Blue Bombers next week.
The Alouettes here need to decide said, I mean, they've got to take a shot. Do you want to take a shot with your fastest guy, which is Chris Williams? Or do you want to take a shot with a couple of your taller guys on the left side of the field? Eugene Lewis, Stephen Adekolu over there if you want to go for a jump ball.
Almost picked off, and that would have been sealed. 32. Dyshawn Davis. Syracuse Orange.
Third-year man getting an opportunity. Become a full-time starter at that weak side linebacker position this year. Primarily seen special teams action through his first couple of seasons in the Canadian Football League.
Time the enemy for the Alouettes, who had 144 yards in offense in the first quarter, only 178 since. Offside BC. Jay Cunningham. Clock down to 25 seconds.
And again with the small chunks of yardage. Time just ticking away on the Montreal Alouettes here.
Well, the Alouettes seem to be under Mike Sherman so far, and it's only one game, very small sample.
BC, number 91, a 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
A team that is showing progress in the right direction, but unfortunately for this team, the same old results right now. Maybe this work in progress will take a little bit of time.
Yeah, nothing gets people to buy in faster than victories.
Second down and 5, 25 to go. This has to go to the end zone if the Alouettes have any chance. Patrick Lavoie barges down to the 25-yard line. 19 to go. Alouettes, who opened scoring, electrifying play, bomb to Chris Williams. Ball was fumbled and into the end zone, covered by Eugene Lewis. And since that time, they've really done nothing offensively, except on this drive.
Well, but I mean, it's a drive that's been great for everybody's stats, but it's not a drive that's going to win you the football game. It's just running out the clock.
13th play of the drive. So much work still for Mike Sherman and the Alouettes. Likely the final play of the game. Steph Logan will be going down, and so will the Alouettes. 12 straight losses now for Montreal, the longest losing streak in franchise history. And Jonathan Jennings and the BC Lions. The season they say they are going to win it.